Well, hi there. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining me for a little live weather chat. It's been a couple of weeks for me. I was off on, we'll call it a vacation. I was back east visiting family for about the past week and a half back in Pennsylvania and New York. This time of the year when I head east, I hope to see at least a little bit of rain, especially coming from Northern California where we don't see any during the summer. Not a drop while I was out there, interesting enough. We had all the rain back here, at least last Wednesday. That was the good rain day on the east side of the valley. Still talking about some rain chances later this week. They're really dwindling. I'll show you why. We'll look at the latest model data on Friday into Saturday. I've had somebody here at the station asking me about a wedding forecast for Saturday. So if you're making plans for the weekend, we're going to go through that in detail. I can tell you this for sure, it's going to be a lot cooler than today. Today we were in the low 90s in the valley. Starting tomorrow, a nice big drop in the temperatures coming. Also starting to get some questions about Monday, Tuesday of next week. So 6-7 days out. Some interesting things floating around social media. I'm going to be honest, seems like it's jumping the gun a little bit. For those asking about rain, snow next week, I don't have a definitive answer, and I'm going to show you exactly why. There's a huge difference between models. One of them is just now starting to pick up on the potential for some decent rain and snow next week. Another, not really showing much of anything. So we'll dig into that as well. We'll see what's going on there. But we'll start with what we're most confident in, and that is the cool down that's coming our way. So, again, today's high for Sacramento was 90 degrees. We were also 90 in Yuba City, 92 in Fairfield, and 92 in Stockton. It was another day where we didn't have a whole lot of wind, but what breeze we did have was offshore. So no delta breeze. That means the delta is going to be the warm spot on a day like this. But look what's coming our way. So the normal high for Sacramento today and tomorrow is 83. That'll quickly drop off to 82 by the time we get to the weekend, and 81 by early next week, such at the time of the year where the normal high falls really quickly. But look at that, by Thursday, mid-70s. This weekend, rain chances are minimal, but man, get your sweatshirts out. We're going to be in the low 50s Saturday and Sunday morning. We're going to stay in the low to mid 70s Saturday and Sunday afternoon. And for those with outdoor plans in the valley, I got some good news for you. I don't think rain is going to be too much of a bother. So I want to show you what I showed on TV earlier today. And that is our accumulated rainfall map. Now yesterday and even today, I intentionally showed this without any numbers on it, but the main point here is this is through Saturday. Rain chances would be Friday evening into Saturday morning. Nothing measurable for Yuba City, Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, the entire San Joaquin Valley and the adjacent foothills dry. Where you see this light green, that may be a few hundredths to maybe a tenth or two of an inch of rain up here on the west slope, and into, say, the north coast, into Sonoma County, into Mendocino County, and Humboldt County. Best rain's going to be on the north coast with this system, and even there, we're probably not talking about a ton of rain. So that's just kind of the overall picture to show you where we're most likely to see rain later this week and where we're not. So the takeaway there is your outdoor plans in the valley, it's going to be cooler, but rain is not going to be disruptive. We may catch a quick shower in Sutter County, in parts of Colusa or Glenn County, maybe into western Placer County and Nevada County, but again, no washouts with that. And for the San Joaquin Valley and the adjacent foothills, I wouldn't expect any rain this week. Again, that is just going through Saturday. We will get to the next week rain potential here in just a little bit. But let's look at some more detailed information. We'll look at the data that I look at here behind the scenes when I'm putting my forecast together. So this model is the NAM, the North American model. A little bit more high resolution than what we typically show on TV. So this is Wednesday. Tomorrow we start to get the onshore breeze coming back in. It's going to be a dry day. We may see a few scattered clouds. Thursday, another day with the onshore breeze. I showed you the big drop in temperatures, but no notable rain. Here comes our system. This would be about midday on Friday. So rain just starting to move into Trinity County, eventually getting into Mendocino County. This is 4 p.m. on, or excuse me, 5 p.m. on Friday. So again, still rain on the north coast, nothing for the valley, nothing for the Sierra. Yeah, according to this model, your Friday evening plans, dry. It's overnight Friday, where we'd see chances for showers in Butte County, Plumas County. And again, that's not a steady soaking rain. So this goes through, this is overnight Friday. Total precipitation, yeah, you can see where it's focused there. It's on the north coast, where we'll see 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain there for the hilly terrain. That's good. Nice to get some good beneficial rain there. You can switch over to the GFS, the American model, which goes out farther. The resolution's not quite as good, but it'll get us through Saturday. So that's through late Saturday night. Nothing accumulating through the valley. This gray area into the Sierra, that's a couple hundredths of an inch of rain at the most. So if you're going to be maybe headed up to the mountains, if you're going to be checking out some of the foliage this weekend, if you have to get to Truckee or to Reno or to South Lake Tahoe for any reason, we may see some showers Friday night into Saturday morning. It doesn't look disruptive. It is going to be cool in the mountains. Temperatures will stay in the low 50s in Truckee and South Lake Tahoe for highs on Saturday and Sunday. So plan for that. Normal highs in South Lake Tahoe, I just looked this afternoon, are in the mid 60s, but we're talking low to mid 50s this weekend. So it is going to be chilly. It is going to be cold enough for some high elevation snow early next week, and we're talking over 7,000 feet. Still some details yet to be worked out. And again, we're going to talk about the huge, it's like a 7-10 split in the models right now, as far as any kind of rain potential for early next week. So we'll come back around to that. Let's check in with the comments. Bunch of people checking in on my Facebook page. Richard says hello. Vicky says good evening. Vicky's back from Oakdale. Good to hear from you, Vicky. Duke is checking in from Jamestown. Taco Tuesday. I don't partake, but if you did, I hope you enjoyed. Bobby, Wisconsin would love some rain. Wisconsin? Or is that a typo? I see WI. Correct me if, or maybe correct yourself if I'm interpreting that incorrectly, but Wisconsin would like some rain. Okay. Northern California would like some rain too. And Jaden says, welcome back. Thanks, Jaden. It's good to be back. All right, that's my page. Stuart is in on the KCRA page, so is Jesse. Hi, guys. And Justin's checking in on YouTube, so I'm going to do my best to check on those comments somewhat regularly, but also keeping an eye on the time here. All right, I also mentioned on air, I'm going to look at the tropics really quickly. They're certainly interesting right now, at least in the East Pacific. It's a little busy. Typically this time of the year we start to see things wind down, but this is what the satellite looks like in the East Pacific right now. So we've got Hurricane Priscilla, still hundreds of miles off the California Baja coast, but it is a strong Category 2 hurricane, 110-mile-per-hour winds. That's a tropical storm. It's not a very good-looking tropical storm. It's just been kind of meandering its way to the east. It's not going to be a problem. If anything, you can kind of see over this loop Hurricane Priscilla just kind of siphoning some of the energy off of that storm. So that's not going to be anything to worry about. This will be interesting to watch. This could become Tropical Storm Raymond here very soon. The waters off the coast of Mexico warmer than normal for this time of the year, and that's part of what's allowed Hurricane Priscilla to stay relatively strong too. Now, Priscilla is not going to be an issue for us in Northern California, but as that storm moves north, it is going to bring some wet weather to Southern California. At this point, again, it doesn't look problematic, but the end of this week will be wetter in Southern California than, say, the Sacramento or San Joaquin Valley. So here's, going back to, again, this is the GFS model, the American model. There's Priscilla. It gets much weaker over the next couple of days, but it will eventually make landfall somewhere around the central Baja of California. Probably as a tropical storm winds. The bigger concern will be the soaking rain, especially in the mountainous areas. But this is 3 o'clock Friday afternoon, so the inland deserts of Southern California, the mountains of San Diego and LA County potentially getting some beneficial rain. The heaviest of the rain, that's going to central Arizona. And look at that, yeah, going up into Four Corners. That's going to be actually kind of nice for that area. There could be some flooding issues in the mountains, but that's an area that really needs some rain. So it is good to see that. But what I want to point out too, so this is moisture from Priscilla. That's the system we're watching for the end of this week, Friday into Saturday. Two totally different moisture sources. So if you do catch a shower in Northern California at the end of this week, it is not from Priscilla. All right, so while we're here, let's talk about early next week, shall we? If you've looked at your phone app recently, if you've maybe perused social media, I know I've seen a lot of just kind of junk posts on social media regarding weather. It's kind of frustrating, especially these like super long range forecasts. They're just not reliable, especially this time of the year when, when we go through the changing seasons from summer to winter. Forecast models, this is when they struggle the most. This is when the weather is most changeable. This is when, we can be looking at something maybe 4 days out, but then 2 days out, it's totally gone. These model flip-flops are totally normal, and we're kind of seeing a little bit of that big difference between one model and the next. All right, that's my little preface here. So we're talking about early next week. This is the latest forecast model. I got to move this little icon back over there. So this is Monday evening. This model has an area of low pressure dropping in from the north. Maybe some rain and some high elevation snow showers into the Sierra. That's a possibility. That is Monday into Tuesday morning. So that's a time period worth paying attention to for the mountains. But again, with that low tracking that far to the east, those would be showers. That wouldn't be substantial accumulation. That's what that model shows, the American model. Let's go over to the European model. Just give me a second. There we go. All right, so not as clear of a picture of Northern California, but make sure we're on the run that actually goes out that far. All right. So, all right, here's Friday into Saturday. There you see, those are those few little showers in Plumas County, Sierra County, maybe a sprinkle or two into Truckee. But again, that's just rain. This model doesn't differentiate between rain and snow, unfortunately. And then it shows dry weather on Sunday, plenty of sun. Same thing with the American model, so good agreement through there. This is midday on Monday. Okay, that's a big difference. This, if you're seeing people getting excited on social media about rain and snow early next week, this is what they're referring to. But again, this is very different from this. This is the same time period on the American model. This is Monday night into Tuesday, nothing. This model, a lot of rain, potentially some decent snow. American model, nothing. That's a huge difference. The European model has been consistently showing the chance for a bit of rain and snow. The model I just showed you is the most that it's shown so far, but that is one model run, and again, there's still this big difference. So what's the takeaway for early next week? It's going to be cool. Valley temperatures may stay even in the upper 60s. We've got low 70s in there for right now. There may be room for those numbers to come down. There's a chance we get some rain. How much rain? It's too soon to tell. How much snow? It's too soon to tell. The more likely scenario at this point in the season is to go for the lower end of what models are showing. It's not impossible, right? Just think back, 3-4 years ago in October, we had a huge storm come through. I don't think this is going to be that, but again, it's too soon to tell with that. Still, given that model information, maybe we add in a chance for some showers early next week. If you have plans Monday and Tuesday, don't cancel them yet. Somebody did ask me, I want to say they were in the foothills. They said they're in harvest time right now. They were asking about that rain Monday into Tuesday. For the sake of farmers, I wish we could say something more definitively 6-7 days out. Monday and Tuesday is, we'll call it a couple of days worth watching. I'm not ready to lock in on potential precipitation numbers because, again, some of our data is showing maybe 1/10 or 2 of an inch of rain into the foothills. The model I just showed you, the European model, that newest model, does show 1 inch plus of rainfall. I'm not hanging my hat on either of those right now because, again, it's just too soon. But next week is looking cool, and for the foothills, it could be showery. So if you are a farmer and, you know, usually 6-7 days out, you need to start making some plans in case it rains, start making some of those plans. Hopefully by the time we get to, say, Thursday, Friday of this week, we'll have it in better sights as far as what early next week could be looking like. Certainly by Friday, before everybody, you know, takes a break for the weekend, we'll try to lock some stuff down for you. But yeah, 6-7 days out with the 7-10 split I just showed you between the models, yeah, it's too soon to really hammer in on what a forecast we could be looking like. Rick is asking, what elements have kept the Atlantic hurricane season so quiet as to the U.S. involvement? Yeah, hurricane season in the Atlantic, I mean, we've had plenty of storms, but the good thing is none of them have actually made harmful landfall. We had one storm, forget the name, just kind of buzzed the coast. It made surf conditions really rough. I want to say it was the H storm this year. But no major issues, which is good. That's what we want from a hurricane season. Hurricanes will form every year because they develop over warm ocean waters in the tropics and then kind of spin their way up north. Sometimes they move towards the U.S., sometimes they don't. As far as specific factors, there's tons of factors that could be at play, but you know, fortunately the jet stream pattern has just been such that none of those storms have been able to actually make landfall. Larry says, no agreements usually means split the difference. I wish it were that easy with forecasting. It's true that the truth is probably somewhere in between, but is it right in the middle? Is it leaning more towards the wetter model? Is it leaning more towards the drier model? That's what we still have to figure out. Not a dead even split, but probably somewhere in between there. All right, scanning through some of the comments. Stuart's asking, what causes the models to be so different? That's a good question. So the American model and the European model, they go based on the same idea. Both of those models are taking in current weather conditions. They're using complex math and physics equations to basically project what current conditions could be looking like in 12 hours, 24 hours, 7 days, 14 days. How those initial conditions are interpreted, tiny little adjustments to exactly how the models do their calculations, even just those tiny little tweaks can have huge implications for differences in the forecast, especially 7 to 10 days out. Have you ever heard of the butterfly effect? Something mathematicians talk about, or the chaos effect, same thing, where tiny little tweaks, tiny little misses with early parts of the forecast can lead to dramatic changes in what's coming later on in the forecast. So I also kind of mentioned this a few minutes ago, where this time of the year, our weather day to day can change dramatically, right? June, July, and August, we know it's going to be hot, we know it's going to be dry. But as we go through October, November, and December, the jet stream starts getting wavier. It's harder for forecast models to predict that. So you got two different models, kind of two different brains thinking about the same problem. They've got kind of widely diverging ideas at this point for day 6 and day 7. Hopefully, once we get to within day 4, day 3, we see some agreement there, and that's where we can get you some better answers as far as that goes. Yeah, forecasting this time of the year, it's fun, but man, it can be frustrating. Social media makes it a lot more frustrating, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, because you start seeing some posts that get really excited about that one model that shows all that rain, all that snow, and it's just one model. It's not capturing the entire picture. So hopefully I helped paint, a broader picture, a more complete picture for you with what I was showing you this evening. Michael says he'll be enjoying an evening with a friend on Saturday night in Dixon Davis. No, Saturday night's going to be dry. Bring a jacket though. Highs are going to be like barely 70 degrees in Davis on Saturday. Morning lows are going to be close to 50. It's going to be chilly Saturday night, so if you've got outdoor plans, you definitely want the warmer jacket. We're getting to that time of the year. Dirk and I were talking about it earlier. We're excited about that. So to sum things up, rain chances at the end of this week, pretty weak for at least our little corner of Northern California. The Sacramento Valley, San Joaquin Valley, I wouldn't expect anything measurable. For the foothills, Nevada County, Western Placer County, Plumas County, yeah, maybe we see a few hundredths up to 1/10 of an inch of rain at most. Most of that coming overnight Friday, so not too disruptive there. Weekend is going to be cool. Valley temperatures in the low 70s, Sierra temperatures in the low 50s. Saturday and Sunday look dry for the mountains for the most part. Again, a couple of showers on Saturday in some spots. But early next week, Monday into Tuesday, a lot of uncertainty. Our forecast for right now is allowing for some of those shower chances in the mountains Monday and Tuesday. But if you're seeing any wild posts about specific snow amounts, specific rain amounts, if you are checking your phone and seeing that forecast bouncing all around, that's a symptom of fall weather patterns. Things change very quickly. There's still a lot of uncertainty with early next week, but we are watching that very carefully. Hopefully over the next couple of days, we'll start to see those two models come into better agreement, and we'll get you a better idea of what to expect. But whether we do get, call it beneficial rain and maybe some high elevation snow, next week's going to continue to look cool. So today we were 90. We might not hit 90 again this year. Yeah, so we've finally gotten to that point. Okay. Thanks for joining me for a little 15-20 minute weather chat. I enjoy doing these. Let's do this again on Thursday. By that point, should have a lot more to say about next week. If next week is still worth talking about. It may not be. We'll see. All right.